Oh,
Alright.
okay.
So, welcome back to the Sunday Jabberwocky. It has been a real hot minute. Last show being November 2nd of 2014. It's been like 8 years, I'm sorry. And the backdrop and the way we do things are clearly exceedingly different. The lounge in which we used to be in no longer even
We're blaming it on
exists.
the Rona.
Well, yeah.
I said we're blaming it on the Rona.
On the Rona. Everybody was
That-
kung fu fighting!
Yeah, let me cough on you through the camera. Yeah, 8 years, dude, and this is my first time on your Jabberwocky.
Yeah.
I'm who is Alice.
So anyway, so you all know me. I'm A.O. Xander. Some of you know her. And your name is?
Who is Alice? Or, just don't call me late for dinner. I've got so many names. I go by many names.
She does go by many names.
Like Staples is one of them, too. Like, right now, my name says on here, Queen of Doinks.
Yep. And we
And I'm
have
certainly a match for you.
the wonderful...
Whatever name you want.
I don't know how
It's
to
your turn.
point down here without looking suggestive.
Field Marshal. Come on, Fire Marshal
Bill
Bill.
Marshall Zuko.
Zuko.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Fire
Dude, I'm
Marshal
calling you Fire
Zuko.
Marshal Bill. That's your new name, Fire Marshal Bill.
Fire Marshal
Okay.
Bill.
Because I see Field Marshal and I just want to say Fire Marshal instead.
I mean, I guess the
Dick.
fires are out
I
in the
thought
field
that.
sometimes. But anyway, so like, any crazy things the past week have happened? Like, so a couple things have already come to
Well,
mind.
Well, Betty White died. John Madden died. Who else just died? Somebody else did too.
that
Some
guy's
senator
idol?
that nobody cares about.
That guy's idol you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. What was his name again? I was so long ago. It was only a few hours, but it was so long ago.
Well,
No, Chris Farley's autopsy came out, like, what was it? That was 24 years ago? That he had an overdose on opiates and cocaine.
by the way, I'm getting feedback from you again.
Son of a bitch. Do you want me to see if I can... Let me...
I'm gonna plug my headphones in just to be sure.
Yeah. Where did I put my headphones is the question. We're gonna play the Where did I put my headphones even though I wore them today?
I was gonna say something.
It's a spicy meatball.
Testing. Okay.
Testing. There we go.
There we go.
Power on. Okay, let me just Bluetooth myself. Ooh, and I've got 60% battery. Why does it say driver error? Just go screw yourself, cassette.
So while you're doing that, Sohan, anything interesting happened to you this week? Anything cool in your opinion, going on in the world?
Well, yesterday I watched the whole season of Cobra Kai, which was pretty interesting.
Indubitably.
You said the first season or the whole season?
The last season that came out, season 4.
Ah,
Yes, they're really bringing back people from the old movies.
I lost my phone by placing it on the roof of my boyfriend's mom's car on Christmas.
but you've already fixed that situation.
I got it it came a day early.
A new phone.
That's good.
Yeah. So,
Indeed, yeah.
so to get the ball rolling with conversation, I have this video that I was reminded about that I'd like to show you.
Okay.
If you join my stream.
Come on, let's join the stream. So we're gonna have like a little reaction video.
Yeah. So essentially, like, this is something that's been concerning me for quite some time, and I've already known about it, but to give a little bit of a personal background, a couple years back, my dad and I went out to the mall, for something. We were doing shopping or whatever.
It's what people do at malls.
Yeah.
Apparently, stop.
Well, but we went to the Red Robin, and we were used to going in there, and then having a server, like a host or hostess, whatever, like
Oh,
seat us and
did you do the
everything,
little kiosk
give
thing?
us the menus and all that stuff. And when we got there, uh, we were seated, but we did not have a server. And eventually, I flagged down someone and said, "Hey, when are we going to be able to order?" They said, "Oh, use the tablet." I'm like, "What?" And then there was a tablet. I was wondering what it was. I thought it was just like, just something there for like a gimmick or whatever. But no, you order on the tablets, and then they bring the food out to you. So there's absolutely no interaction. And I
I went
get
to Red
it.
Robin like a couple weeks ago, and that was they had the same thing, but they still handed us they did hand us a menu though.
Ah, but see, like
Yeah.
like I get like the cost of overhead. I mean, like a lot of people, they only see one side of the shoe with this. It's very easy to sit there and say, oh, higher minimum wage, or oh, more money for this, but you got to sit back. Now, I'm not talking for the mega corporations. Those guys, like the fact that they fire people and then they turn around and go buy like private planes, that tells you a whole other type of scenario. But
No, that's a
my
small
family
evil right
owns
now.
a private business, like and uh, I have gotten like firsthand experience about what it's like to be an employer. Like I've never been one, but I know one personally, my dad, and the cost of overhead. Then you have to also consider taxes,
Right, they gotta.
and fees and like this and that, nickel and dime, and then you wonder why your burger costs $5 when you go to Chili's. You know that's why.
Well, you see, even $5
Everything needs to
anymore.
get
Like,
paid.
would it be nice if it was
But
$5?
what?
Wouldn't it be nice if it was still $5? Because it's
Yeah,
definitely not $5 more.
yeah.
Burgers
No,
are
it'd be
now
more
like
like 10 or 20. Honestly,
$12 up, man. Seriously, like a Big Mac, like just the sandwich is like $8, $9 at least, I
it's
think.
ridiculous. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that like imagine a world where everything is automated. Like, we think it's called progress. We think we're going ahead in society, but are we really? Is it really progress when we're taking things away? Yeah, we're making it easier to, to ship things. We're making it easier to order things, to order food online. A person
Nothing
can
is
literally
disposable.
spend their entire life in a room and not leave. They can work at a home. They can order things online. They can talk to people, meet to people, socialize. Every single thing you can do in the world right now, you can do
Speaking
in a
of,
room
there are some
and
trends
never
right now.
leave, and that is terrifying. And with everything going into automation, like this video that I'm about to play here in a minute, like this scares the hell out of me because this is
They
not
totally
where we
what
might be
you're talking
going. This
about.
is where we are going.
Oh
And
no, I
nobody
know.
seems
Like
to.
we're losing personality. We're missing the face to face context and stuff, and in socialization. People are naturally sociable, like are naturally social beings. I mean, that's what we are. Like we thrive on it. It helps with our development too. Like think about like what masks are doing to children right now. Like
Oh
people
God,
like
have you seen that
we
one
all
video where the mother keeps trying to put the mask on the kid?
no, but what I
No.
was talking about is like are people wearing all these masks and stuff right now? Like during a really important time during a certain like childhood, facial recognition and like socialization happens at such a young age. And masks are actually like there's a study that came out where it actually hinders uh kids growing up. So yeah,
Okay,
before we
so
watch that one.
have you seen this one?
No, I actually
Okay,
haven't.
so viewer discretion is advised. This is very disturbing. There's no gore or like political anything in this, but this is just so fundamentally wrong that if
Yeah,
you have a weak constitution, skip ahead. And we lost Zukov. Oh, he's back.
he's that.
Zukov, welcome back. Okay, so is everybody in here?
I'm in here.
Yep,
I'm here.
there you are. Okay.
Put your mask on. Put your mask
That's,
on.
that's just torture.
No, you gotta wear it on, honey.
No, you gotta keep it on.
Put your mask on.
There you go. Keep it right there.
Yay, Mason! Yay!
Keep it on, Mason. Look, we're gonna keep it right here. Nope.
don't want it over my mouth.
Peekaboo, I see you. Keep your mask on.
I'm not going to play the rest of that, but like, isn't that just the epitome of evil? They're trying to provide positive enforcement to such a horrible atrocity. Like,
Well, like the
how?
way they're putting it on, I don't think they're trying to be malicious or intent, but like just the way they're trying to tug it back on his face is just that's
Well, see, the problem is
man.
I'm not saying that they're malicious. I'm saying
No,
that
I
the
don't think
mentality
either.
people have gotten so batshit insane that they think that this is actually normal. The
Yeah, this is not
child
right. No,
obviously knows it's not.
normalize this.
Like,
No,
like
it's not natural.
ignore not the innocence of a child, for they may be ignorant, but they are also truthful.
They are. They
So,
duperly are.
yeah. But anyway, to get back on the subject matter. By the way, Zuko, if you have anything to say, you've been quiet today.
Not really. It's just keep.
All right.
Not really. I'm just, whatever.
He's just kind
It
of
don't
here.
matter. It don't. Just say Smith. It don't matter. None of this matters.
All right.
How come it is?
So I'm going to play this video here, and then we're going to get into more upbeat things. This is not a sad show. Not meant to be, at least. But the world is in dire straits, and if we're going to fix things, we got to look this beast right in the mouth. It's going to be hard, but when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Newspaper in the mirror. It's basically a phone. You put your brush in there. It reads your DNA. Figures out if you have a medical issue. Automated selection for what you're going to wear. Look at that. Screens. And see, look at that. The lights are lighting up following her. You see behind her, they're turning off. They're following her. Now they're projecting her with the clothes. They have, color, they can actively, figure out which color, here's a medical center. Biometric scanning. Found out what she has. Auto dispensary, no doctor, no waiting room, no nothing. Seems good, right? Watch this. She looks around. Absolutely nobody.
Yeah. You don't even drive anymore.
Yeah, no, automated cars. Auto cars scare the hell out of me.
I agree with the auto cars. It's a scary situation.
But look at this.
There's this weird show called something Anna Gastier.
I'm going to pause right here.
But the cars accidentally, because they can't recognize, dark colored skin, they accidentally run over black people and, Indian people.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
It was hilarious. It was actually, I saw it was an ad that came in on my YouTube feed when I was trying to watch a Mark Dice video. And I was like, you know what? This is kind of interesting. It's Anna Gastier, whatever. So I actually liked her. She was funny.
Now, see,
she was really good at playing Celine Dion.
I have the video paused here because this is a very, very interesting point of reference. You think about, the old, the 80s and 90s, the arcades and all that stuff, And then now, for the most part, everything like that, bowling alleys, all the entertainment venues, of just even 10 years ago, now, if they even are still around, they're in more, rural, not rural, but more economically disadvantaged areas. You see, arcades are always run down, they're always, on the back end. Well, right now, we're looking at this here, and she's in, the self-driving car looking out her window, and she sees, this poor, run-down neighborhood. VR Factory Amusement Arcade. A VR arcade. We're just now getting, VR technology. Can you imagine an entire business model as an arcade? Because they would have holodecks. From Star Trek. Imagine, that's our future, but even beyond that, they're at a point that now that's the technology of old. you know, like
It's crazy.
that's fascinating. Like we're looking at it through like that's the old, but that's not. But we're not even to the point where that's new yet in
Well,
the
think
real
about it,
world.
like the things he depicted in Back to the Future too. I mean,
Yeah.
the 3D advertisements that come out at your face,
Oh
and
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, like that cat thing.
Hey, Moon,
Hey, Sun
welcome to the
Moon,
show.
we are recording to let you know.
Yep, we are recording right now for
Really?
Jabberwocky. Yep.
So I'm
That's
going
good.
to continue. I'm sorry.
I'm just here. I just came. I
Ah,
got a want to light up.
welcome, welcome. Yep, light up. I'm
When
going to
I go
continue
have a
playing this
cigarette, I'm
video.
gonna probably switch over to my phone, so there might be like a second where I pop out. So I'm
Okay.
just letting you know. 'Cause,
All right. If you are cool with it, Sun Moon, join the stream here. We're watching this video. We're already halfway through, but we're discussing
Start over.
topics about
Oh,
the
well,
future. Like what's coming. Like
the lack of socialization and interpersonal interactions.
yeah,
So it actually gets pretty crazy. It's actually like cool, but at the same time, it's frightening.
it is.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're gonna see here right now. You see the hover thing. It's gonna be taking the graffiti off the wall. So they're like atomizing the graffiti or something. So
That
this
was
is.
in Demolition Man, though. Remember that was in Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone.
I never saw that movie.
Oh,
I saw
what?
it.
Yeah, I got to.
Yes, it's worth a watch.
Look at all those server farms. Good morning, Alice.
Her name really Alice.
Did you see what it said on the screen?
Did it really say Alice?
It did.
No shit.
Well, it
That's
said,
hilarious.
"Good morning, Alice. We are updating our workforce, and we are sorry to say." And then she stood up, which means she was let go.
Oh,
And the title of this video is "The Last Job on Earth." So, see, with everything, the point I'm trying to make is with everything being automated, at what point do we have
Automation
to
is
say enough because we're just losing jobs? We're increasing in population, but we're losing, we're losing chairs for butts to fill,
Mm-hmm.
And at the other side of the coin, you look at things like, government and bureaucracy and all that stuff, and 90% of that shit is just made up chairs just to have chairs for butts to fill. We don't need all that crap. So we're getting rid of, we're making it more streamlined, more automated, whip-de-diddle-de-doo, but everything has a cost. There's always a positive and a negative to everything. So
Oh, absolutely.
I would rather wait like a week for something to get to me than have it get to me in a day if that's going to cost somebody their job. Because at the end of the day, I want a job. Everybody wants work. You don't want my job. Well, you get what I'm saying. Everybody needs a purpose. And what purpose do we have if we end up if you've seen the Animatrix,
I've seen the Animatrix. That was actually cool.
Specifically the video about the second Renaissance, the part 1, while all the humans were partying and everything and all that stuff. But
The robots are doing everything.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That's their whole life. All they do is party. All they do is consume. They don't do anything.
Oh.
I mean, something like this video, in my opinion, is nothing really worthwhile contributing to society, but I have nothing else to do. Well, how long until a good chunk of the world is going to be in my position?
A little off subject, but look at Big Boy came to say hi.
Ah, hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yep, look at Big Boy. He's one of the stray cats I feed.
Stray cats.
So the little one, she's over there. She's right over there. She's waiting for me to feed her, but I can't find where I put the cat food. Oops. Are you coming in, buddy? Ooh. There we go.
So anyway, what's anybody else's thoughts on something like that?
Like a full automation of everything? and like there just
Well,
be no danger zone. Hey, look, there's a wig
kind of
down here.
kind of
Don't worry,
scary,
we're not gonna
especially
prank
with the
him.
self-driving cars.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's actually just started to come out, the self-driving cars.
Yeah,
So like
I
that's
know
actually a thing now.
because
Let me just
eventually
switch back
that
over to
could
my
be
laptop
hacked
real quick for you guys.
because it's automated, so it could be hacked.
yeah, that's exactly the point I'm making. Like if you see, I say this 1,001 times a day. It seems most everybody is too focused on one thing. They don't have the ability to stay. Now, don't get me wrong. It's good to focus, but you also got to take a step back and look at everything because you look at like how easy it is to hack things. It's already been proven that like a video came out like a year or two ago where these guys remotely hacked like a Tesla car or one of these self-driving cars and something like remotely hacked it, took it over, controlled, and whoever was in the car was completely and totally at the mercy of whoever it was who hacked it. Now,
Well, no, actually,
you
speaking of that, did you hear what Tesla's doing now with all their electric cars? You have to use an app to access and unlock your car.
okay?
So,
So now you
like,
just got to make a
actually,
spoof app.
yeah, yeah. Well, just imagine what would happen if like the internet went down just for like an hour, and somebody was reliant on that for their job of like getting like they did a delivery for a thing, and for an hour they couldn't use their car.
Well, not just
I
that,
mean,
but what if they're on their car, going 70 down the
now,
freeway, and then the
yeah.
internet went off?
Well,
Their car just
I
doesn't
don't
stop,
know.
you know?
I don't know if that happens. Like, I think it's like just to unlock the car. That's how it works. There's an app to unlock your car, but without the app, you can't get into your car.
Ah, okay.
I don't know about using an app to start it, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were working on it already. I mean,
I don't know. But, like, the
my
point.
dad's band, and one of his the keyboard players for my dad's band from the '70s. His son worked in like the private security like sector, like super secret, top secret part of Google. And this
Jeez.
was like back in like 2002, 2003. Like I was still like I was like not even 18 yet, and this guy was working in like he couldn't talk about what he was working on in Google. Just imagine that stuff is like stuff that he did work on is out there now.
That's
Like
frightening.
I think his name started with an S. I can't remember, but like he's from Hawaii. His dad's from Hawaii on there, and I know his dad's name. His dad's he's a really good piano player. But like his son worked in Google and they did top secret stuff. Like it wouldn't surprise me eventually that they will have an app for you to just drive your car. Like
Yeah,
there's already an app for people for parking your car. Like where cars will actually self park and stuff like that too.
that's insane. That's
Yeah,
absolutely
I saw
insane. Like,
somebody do it.
don't get me wrong,
Somebody
it's
do
nice
it.
to have technology like that, but the problem is everybody, they like cars are bad enough. I mean, we have power steering, we have climate control, we have heated seats, we have, like you're in your living room, okay? But you're
Hmm.
driving a 2-ton death machine with controlled explosions under the hood. Like people are too comfortable. And then now you have these self-driving cars and everything. And the other point I was trying to make is if you look at society and just how like progressively younger and younger and younger as every generation goes past, people are getting more and more desensitized to horrible things. So
Well, think about like what happens if like the AI to these self driving cars becomes self aware
that
and
that's another
decides that
point. But
they're
if I
you
may
know
finish what I'm trying to say, um, like what's stopping like an 8 or 9 year old kid, because by then all the things that we know today, that's just going to be child's play. Like
oh
kids are
like
born with iPads these days. It's
my
absolutely
nieces
outstanding.
and nephews
Like
know
not in a
more
good
about
way.
computers than I do. Like and like
Yep.
technology applications. It's crazy.
It is. But the point I'm trying to make is like with kids, so desensitized and stuff already today. Imagine 50 years from now, some 7 or 8 or 9 year old or whatever hacks into their teacher's car and throws her off a cliff because they gave them a bad grade.
Like,
You know,
or they yelled at them in class or something
yeah,
stupid. You know.
and that's the perfect crime. Like you can get away with it with like the VPN technology. There's no way you can track it back to people. Absolutely
Oh
no
yeah,
way.
there's always a trail. There's always a trail, even like
Not
no matter how much
necessarily.
you can
If
that
you if you know about the dark web,
everything
which by then kids
well, no,
will.
I don't. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying like there is a way to probably track it. If someone did hack a person's car, there's probably going to be a way where, like, if somebody remote accesses a car, there's a way to track who did it.
Even
Like
so,
maybe
kids
like
don't
you have to
understand
have a
consequences.
thumbprint to like access the app or something. Like my phone is thumbprint activated. Like you can't get into my phone without my thumbprint. So, but who's to say that somebody out in Minnesota like just takes a copy of my thumbprint that's online through the like police department and manipulates it somehow and like 3D prints my thumbprint for something else. I mean that totally happens.
Or
You can use
a more analog type of
yeah.
situation would be now you've incentivized anybody who wants to get into your stuff to cut your thumb off. So
Yeah. Well, I don't even like see. I've already had an issue with the idea of like overly computerizing cars.
yeah,
Like the only thing that seems to go wrong with cars now has something to do with a computer that's in their fucking car. This is why I like to stick to like cars from the 80s. Like my favorite car is the Honda Prelude. That thing's a tank. It's a small little tank. It's cute. It's awesome. I remember somebody with a freaking minivan smashed into my back end of my car because of like the steel and metal frame and body. Like I got like a little dent in my bumper and a crack. It's just a crack, not like a broken piece or anything where I had to get that clear tape for the blinker. I just cracked part of my blinker, just the plastic, but their whole front end was just crunched in. Like they design cars so shittily now, in my opinion, and they've computerized them so much that like you have to always constantly go in and get something new. I'd rather have something that will last for years, and like every once in a while you just gotta like give it a little love.
and see, here's the other part of the problem with that. It's not just that everything you said, but because
Mm-hmm.
like everybody's doing all this proprietary crap now and like like legal mumbo jumbo, you can't legally work on your own car. If you try to,
I
and they find out, then they can come after you and sue you for trying to fix your own
exactly
car.
what is
You have to
what
go
is
to
it?
certified dealerships. I have a video up. It's 11 and a half minutes long. I don't want to watch the whole thing, but I posted the link in Mikeless if you want to see it later. Farmers are hacking
Yeah,
their tractors because of repair ban. Like these newer tractors and everything, they have all these computers. They have to learn how to hack their own tractors in order to run diagnostics because independent shops do not have the tools. They're proprietary. They can only be
yeah,
used
you can only go to the
by
dealership. I don't
authentic
like that
shops.
monopoly.
So then, like they're forcing you to instead of paying like $100 bill, like repair, like $1,000 bill repair. They can charge whatever the hell they want because they're the only boys on block legally. It's a legal
Why?
repair monopoly. You
Well,
know,
here's the thing. Like, also, I believe that Congress actually decided to pass a bill that like allows people to for certain things. I
the right
can't
to
remember
repair.
what
Like
the right.
like
Yeah,
Apple's
they passed it,
like
so they said it's illegal to do.
yeah, no, like there's this guy in New York. I forgot his name, but I've been following him for a while. Um, Louis Rossman, I think. Um,
Hmm.
but like he has his own like little repair shop and stuff, and like because of all these laws and everything, like the right to repair is pretty much non-existent. People and independent repair facilities are pretty much like squeezed out from repairing anything involving like iPhone, Microsoft, Samsung, any of the big guys. Well, pretty much anybody really. Like unless you get like
Yeah.
this third-party knockoff piece of crap from China or whatever, if you want
Also,
to
like, what
repair
is
any
this?
product, like your computer, your phone, your tablet, your
Why can't you
keyboard,
use gaming
you know,
computers in
repair anything, you got
California?
to go to these certified places, you know, and it's just awful.
But seriously,
It's
it's
getting
getting
rid of
crazy. Like, they're just
competition.
making these ridiculous rules
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not
online.
making it.
Say that again? Please?
It's not fair. Like they're kind of like, what do you call it? Like they're like, no, no, you can't edit my stuff. Like,
Well, I hear there's like a couple states now that are doing it. I know that California is one of them, where you're prohibited from the sale of like purchasing a gamer computer
oh yeah,
because
California they banned gaming computers. Not just
yeah,
California though. It was California, I believe Hawaii, either
yeah,
Washington
California
or
and
Oregon.
somebody else, one other state. Like I think it was Oregon. There's like only 3 states have it, but like it's ridiculous. You
But
can't
do you want
import
to know
like
why?
gaming computer. Why? Because of energy output?
Yeah, or it's energy
Yeah.
consumption. Now, I have a
Yeah.
gaming PC, but I don't have one of these crazy like $4,000 rigs with water coolant and 75,000 fans and a billion RPM RAM or any of that crap. Like I have a $1,000, $1,500 setup, not bad. But see, when people think of gamers, they look at like these esports thing and they see these massive rigs, and those things are sucking up energy like a mofo. So, no wonder, but unfortunately, they say gaming computers, they sweep up everything. So, the computer I have now, I cannot buy again. It's gone.
But I
Can't
can
build your own. Like,
No, you can't buy the parts.
I'll smuggle you in some
You can't
gaming
buy
PC
certain parts because
Yeah, you
because of this.
just gotta smuggle them in.
That's-
Now,
Yeah.
they don't want you to play good games. Like, they don't want you to have like you know what I mean? Be able
Well,
to
look at
kill
what
like
China's doing.
China
have
is
to
tripping.
credit.
Well,
Yeah,
China,
but
like,
based on what you look up
China has a law that they
and-
enforce that limits people to, what was it, like 3 hours of gaming a week or something? Like,
I think 2 hours.
uh,
2 hours.
yeah,
2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours. Was that a day or a week?
Never go to China.
Yeah,
A week.
They've
week.
limited your gaming capacity to like 2 hours a day.
Well, of course, what do you expect from China? They literally put people with internet addiction in concentration camps, in a way.
But yeah,
Oh,
like you
shit.
say only 2 hours. Yeah, no, they also have internment camps still out there. They're fully active, like, fully
They're doing a
functional.
lot of shit in China. Like
There is a lot of things that goes on in China.
they got high technology and
Yep.
Yeah.
Also,
It was a lot
remember,
different when he was in 100-acre wood.
I want to interject
Yeah.
this so we don't forget, because we did mention this in Today in History. We wanted to talk about making sure you know who you're voting for. Remember, that was
Yes.
a topic we wanted to discuss later.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be right now. I just want to remind.
Well, let's talk about it since we just brought it up again. Like we were talking about, like like women's suffrage, and black suffrage and all that stuff, and like yes, everybody has a right to vote. Everybody has rights to this. Everybody has a right to that. But the thing is that just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean you can just go out and do something like vote. You got to research. You got to know what you're voting for, especially with how politicians like to sneak things in. Like recently, there was something like called the infrastructure bill, but then at the very end, that there's something that was put in under there, like that.
Yeah.
Like I think this is how like the whole UFO disclosure thing like came to be recently, because Trump snuck something in. I think this is the same bill, like, or maybe I'm confusing the two, but there was some bill, and he snuck in at the bottom, like the government, must release all of its information, yada yada, and of course they did, and they found a way to rat around it, because they're the government, but still, like, people don't read the entire thing. Like you don't sit there and read the 1,000 pages of the EULA whenever iTunes gets an update.
Well, I think, like, you think about, like, even when Obama was in office, he snuck in, like, somehow he paid $500 million or $5 billion or something like that to Iran, and Iran is like outward spoken against the United States, and like personally, if they had the capability.
Oh, let's not forget, when Hillary sold a lot of uranium straight to Russia. Remember that?
Oh yeah. The uranium, that was the Uranium One deal. It also went to Iran too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Russia.
Yeah.
So it was also Iran.
But see, that's the thing, like, and like, like nobody has the time. Like, I'm not sitting here and bashing people for not reading it. I get it. You have your own life to live. This is why you vote for representatives. This is why we're a republic, not a democracy. If we're a true democracy, then everybody is voting on everything. We can't do that. This is why we're a republic. We have people who represent us. That's why we have something called the House of Representatives. They represent us. They vote on behalf of us. Well,
So we voted for Ilhan Omar, and look what she does.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to defund the police and disband them completely.
But see,
the
world we live in now, like, I personally believe that voting is a farce, but I'm not going to get into that. If voting works, the way everybody believes it does and everything, then what we got to do in the very least is people have to take responsibility for who they're voting for. If you're going to vote for anybody, research them, look into their background, look into their pros and their
It does
cons.
go down
You
to the
know,
small scale level, but like, Soren was trying to say something. What were you trying to say there, buddy, Buckaroo?
so
Hey, commercial Bill, you're trying to say something.
No, I was just talking about how Ilhan Omar, pretty much married her fucking brother
Yeah, she did actually, and the only reason she really did was to
to get him in the
bypass.
country.
No, no, not no. It wasn't the country. It was to fraud the student loan requirements. Yeah, it had everything to do with schooling and stuff actually. But then also,
Okay.
Illinois, one of her campaign representatives, also was paying people to vote Biden in 2020. Like they were going out and paying people to do a certain thing. It was something weird with campaigning and crap for Biden. Nobody ever talked about it, but allegedly, I should say, because it hasn't been proven in a court of law or anything. But yeah, Ilham Omar, like in my opinion, she's a piece of garbage. Like my state used to be something beautiful, and unfortunately, after George Floyd, it just kind of went to hell in a handbasket. I mean, it was
California
already
used to be
going a
beautiful
certain
too.
way. Yeah, well, California's even worse, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's like no competition. California is a garbage state. Same with New York. Remember, like what you were saying about New York? Like they say they can and detain you without trial for not being vaccinated. That's what they're trying to pass in New York.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let me pull up that bill here real quick.
Yeah, that's actually something worth talking about. That's a big deal. Like for
So
for a video.
and let me pull up. Oh
I'm
yeah,
hungry.
yeah, the Hungary thing too.
I'm
Well, not
just
the
eating
Hungary.
fuck.
The
No, I
Austrian.
said I'm hungry. I want to eat something.
Oh, you're hungry?
Yeah, I said I'm hungry. That's what I said. Like, yeah, I'm
Oh,
hungry.
I thought you
I
said
might,
and Hungary, like the country Hungary.
no, well, no, that's
What?
Austria, isn't it? That's is
Yeah,
that
Yeah, it's Austria.
yeah.
Austria
Aust-
was doing that.
Yeah, I was Austria, not hungry. I was just saying I'm hungry. Like I want to
Uh,
eat something.
I
okay, so do you want to hit the
ironic.
video soon?
Yeah, yeah. Hit the video. I'm just gonna grab a bowl of my pot roast real quickly, and I'll be right back in like 2 seconds.
I'll be back to my drink.
Okay. So while we're in break, I'm gonna play some non-copyright music.
There you go.
NCS.
NCIS,
NCIS.
starring Hookers and Blow.
Let's
One
see.
man, one desire.
This one looks interesting.
Join me?
Welcome back.
I'm back. It's only taking 2 shakes of the lamb's tail.
Well, I don't know how long that is because I've never seen a lamb nor seen it shake its tail, at least in real life. So, yeah. So, by the way, if anybody has anything to say, just interject, please. Talk over me, like yell, ping me, do something. Don't make me don't let me
I'm
look like an S.
I am eating too, and
Ah,
I'm enjoying the tunes. I'm enjoying the conversation, and yeah, I'm just about to pour myself a little bit of lemonade.
I've got a pot roast that I made last year that has been still cooking slowly for 2 days.
all right. So
Pot.
pot roast is
See,
really good.
see, look at that. Look at that meat.
Meat.
Pat wants it.
So to start talking about this bill, they're going to be voting on it in January 6th, which is in 4
The
days.
day so-called insurrection.
Wasn't that the 5th?
No, it's January 6th.
Okay, yeah, that's another thing. Like that's what I thought because I was like, oh hey, isn't this like are they making it on January 6th just to be like snarky, be like, oh yeah, look what we're doing 1 year after what you tried, like
Mm-hmm.
they try to be,
Well,
even though that they're the ones who caused it, been proven,
well,
bloody feds.
we still have people detained without trial right now
Yeah, to
from
this day
January
they
6th.
still have people detained. Like that's
Without trial.
unconstitutional. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, this is
Obama.
let's see here. Removal, detention of cases, okay, I'll just read this whole thing here. An
Okay.
act to amend the public health law in relation to the removal of cases, contacts, and carriers of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to the public health. So keep in mind, potentially, not even
Yeah.
like no, not even confirmed dangerous. No, just we think. To the
Mm-hmm.
people of the state of New York, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1. The public health law is amended by adding a new section 2120A to read as follows. Removal and detention of cases, contacts, and carriers who are or may be a danger to public health. Other orders. The provisions of this section shall be utilized in the event that the governor declares a state of health emergency due to an epidemic of any communicable disease. Essentially, they've already done that. The instant
Yep.
remember, guys, the instant that they found out about Omicron, like
Yep.
within 24 hours, New York shut down, even though they were on the other side of the world from where it was found. Anyway, to continue on, upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier, or suspected suspected case, think of that, suspected case, contact or carrier of a contagious disease that, in the opinion of the governor, after consultation with the commissioner, may pose an imminent and significant threat to the public health resulting in severe morbidity or high mortality. The governor or his or her delegee, including but not limited to the commissioner or the heads of local health departments, may order the removal and or detention of such a person or a group of such persons by issuing a single order, identifying such persons either by name or by a reasonably specific description of the individuals or group being detained. Such person or group of persons shall be detained in a medical facility or other appropriate facility or premises designated by the governor or his or her delegee, and complying with subdivision 5 of this section. Number 3, a person or group removed or detained by order of the governor or his or her decree. There's a lot more. Never mind. So, but that's the gist of it. Basically, giving the governor at his leisure the ability to arrest, detain without trial, without evidence, just suspicion, just belief, and put them into a facility, not even necessarily anything to do with medical, any facility deemed appropriate. Can anybody say a Holocaust?
If there's somebody who's running against them that's calling them out on their corruption, they can just be like, oh, detained because they pose a threat to people.
Exactly. We're legalizing the Holocaust. We're legalizing the Great Purge. Like you really think that this guy, if he has any political opponents, that they won't immediately find themselves, magically, considered a public health risk? Come on. Like, can people not see this? Can people really not see this?
The Lieutenant Governor took over Cuomo's spot in New York, and it's a female. And she wasn't even voted in. She was a lieutenant governor In the event that Cuomo has to step down, she's the replacement. So you don't have to hold another election.
I don't want to sound sexist or misogynistic, but every single instance of like a female getting this position because of all this social justice crap,
No,
like
Kamala
it
Harris.
turns to shit. Look at what what's her face did to Star Wars. Like Disney owns it, but they had what's her face in control of the whole
Right.
project.
Oh, Rian Johnson.
Was it her Ryan Johnson? No, that's the director. I'm talking about like the person like in charge of the whole program. Like it was
Yeah.
something. Wasn't it a Kennedy or it was
The
some name?
director of like whatever or something.
Like hold on, I need to look this up.
Well, no, look what they did to X-Men.
Of Star Wars, he's leader of Star Wars. No.
There's actually a guy who talks about this on a YouTube channel. I can't remember his name. How this woman destroyed Star Wars. Well, I mean, look what they did. They killed Han Solo.
Kathleen Kennedy,
Yeah.
co-chairman of Lucasfilm, became president of Lucasfilm, reporting to Walt Disney Studios chairman Alan Horn. So look at what Kathleen Kennedy, who only got her position because of all this wokeism, look at what she did to Star Wars. I mean, does the glass ceiling exist? Yes. Do women have to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, 4 times, 5 times as hard as a man? In a lot of cases, yes. But you know what? That's what makes them better. Because they have that, you looked at that as a disadvantage. It's really not. You're being strengthened to be better than us. So look at it as an advantage, not as a disadvantage. This is a classic ability to turn your weakness into a strength. Don't get it just because you have a vagina and you're like, oh, me too. No, earn it. That's people don't get it. Sorry to go on a rant there.
No, that was fine. No, I completely agree. I mean, depending on what the woman's doing for a job, absolutely, she is sometimes busting her ass a little harder. But that's not to say because she has to like make a name for herself. It's more so just because some of that labor that some women choose to do, it's a little harder for us to lift up certain things. We're not upper body strength; we have lower body strength.
Yeah, well, that's when you're talking about lower end jobs and everything. I'm talking about executive positions and all that stuff. Like you're not going around moving furniture while you're in a suit.
Those people are just being little cucks, in my opinion. Executive people, they get too power hungry. They totally changed from what they originally set out to be a lot more times than.
Yep. But then
I don't believe in feminism like that. Nope. Like women, we are just equal. We don't have the same strength that all men do. We have strengths in other areas that men don't have them, and men have strengths in areas we don't. Working together, it's one good team if you think about it. But I mean, there are going to be certain things that a woman's not going to be able to fucking lift up a 500-pound couch, or I don't even know if there's a 500-pound couch out there, but something 500 pounds, she can't. It's going to be a problem. She's going to have help. But most men can't lift up 500 pounds on their own either.
And we're talking in a broad general sweep. I've seen a video of this jacked woman fucking rotate bending a cast iron pan into a burrito.
There are some really super strong women out there too, that you just go, what the fuck? But did you hear about the that one swimming coach out in Penn State, in Pennsylvania out here? She resigned because this transgender male who was transferred over to being a woman is just breaking all these women's swimming records, and for 3 of his 4 years of hers, I'm sorry now, now he's a she. They swam as a male. And then all of a sudden switched over to the women's swimming team, and this one coach been doing it for decades and decades for this college. She resigned because she said it wasn't fair. The reason why there's women's swimming and men's swimming separate is because when it comes to swimming, there's definitely a huge difference between because of men's bodies and their lung capacity and muscle structure to women's. So there's different stipulations between the two. I used to be on the swimming team. I completely do not think that transgendered people should be going into like women's swimming, especially because of even if you take all those testosterone blockers and everything like that or hormone blockers, that doesn't change your physical makeup. If you matured through puberty as a man, that's going to still carry with you as an adult. And it's nothing against the transgender. I'm not saying they shouldn't compete, but they should definitely still compete within their own original allocated sex.
Exactly. And see, to add on to your point, though, like, you're saying now, granted, the skeletal structure between men and women are different, okay?
Muscle structure, lung capacity, and lungs is a huge factor in swimming.
It's not just that, though. Like, let me explain things. There have been multiple accounts of archaeologists digging up, like ancient civilizations, tens of thousands of years old and everything, and they've noticed that for the most part, like, especially in like the more rough and tumble, like, time periods and everything, like, in a lot of cases, the skeletal structures between males and females, aside from height, no, are very, very similar. Like, the only difference being, like, the pelvis, because men can't give birth, so the pelvis.
Yeah.
But no, they discovered that, they did their science stuff, they used the skeleton, and they added the muscles, added the skin, added, all that stuff. And they realized that the men and the women were both, like, they weren't, like, jacked, but they were both, muscular and such, because they both worked. But see, the thing is that the reason why males are a lot, more physically strong and everything, better lung capacity, all the stuff that you're saying, versus females, is because for hundreds of, if not thousands of years, the societal norm has been the men go out and do the work, the women stay home and raise, and the elderly help them and everything. Well, if you're in a time where everybody has to get their hands dirty, well then in a few generations, and let me finish this, because we have a modern day perfect example of this. But like in just a few generations, maybe like 100 years or so of doing that, you start the humans start evolving, adapting to that environment. And a really good example is if you look at in the United States, if you look at people of African descent and such, for the most part, a lot of them are very like in shape, even though they don't go to the gym and everything because of 300 years of forced labor. Like Bill Burr did this whole joke about it, where like actually, if you don't mind, I'd like to bring that up. Let me see if I can find it.
You can only do a few snippets at a time without copyright, but
well, I'll just talk about it then. But Bill Burr essentially
it's on YouTube. I don't think it's gonna be a big problem. We just can't play the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, essentially, Bill Burr goes on about like how how pumped Hitler must have been, during the Olympics on the way there. Like, oh, we are going to make a superior race. We are going to dominate. Blah 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 blah. And then they just get their ass handed to them by like Kenyans and shit,
Oh yeah.
And stuff. And it's just like, and then Bill Burr said something like, like he delivered it a lot better than I am right now. I'll tell you that. But like, he was saying like, oh blah blah superior race. It's like I think we already accidentally did that. Like.
No.
Because, like, slavery was horrible, but, I mean, we kind of, like, forced that entire, people, at least out here, to go through, that physical, evolution. And now, like, even to this day, a lot of people of African descent, like, they don't even have to go to the gym to get a ripped 8-pack. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, but I've seen a lot of fat Africans too, but that's okay.
I've seen a lot of fat Asians, but you never see a fat Asian in Asia. You only see them out here, So
yeah, well, I love fat people in general. I'm kind of frumpy, so
yeah,
not too bad.
But see, that's the thing. Like it's not about like what you are. It's about your environment. You look at Asians. You think like the majority of them are skinny. Everything. You'll never. You go to China. You go to Japan. You go to Taiwan. Korea. Well, except for that one idiot up in North Korea, you'll never see a fat Asian. Never, never, never. You'll only see them out here in the United States. Why? Because we have bloody cheeseburgers everywhere, and we don't know how to control our insulin levels. That's our cultural problem. That has nothing to do with ethnicity. That's a cultural force. So that's another example. Because now we have obesity becoming like a genetic problem. Oh, it's in my genes. It's in my genes because we have generations and generations of these people eating nothing but cheese. So what do you think your kids are going to be?
Overly processed. Oh, I was just about to go outside to go have a cigarette.
Yeah. But anyway, this show is approaching an hour long, so if anybody has anything else to add.
Hookers and blow.
I take it that is the end of the show.
No, hookers and blow were awesome. All I just wanted to say, it's like my old slogan, hookers and blow.
Yo, I gotta tell you, that was pretty weird.
Up to where I'm at,
Yeah.
it's so cut and processed, it's not even worth it. That and it's just not even worth the money. I'd rather buy some marijuana.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I second that.
No, Zukov, did you see what I see? She tapped on her phone and then the camera switched. That looked trippy.
I know, I'm fucking slinging and slanging and awesome like that. Dude, you can also see my makeup way better when I switch over to. I have a better camera quality on my phone than I do my computer. My Lappy McLapperson, my lap hey.
Lap hey. All right,
well, so because of Homestar Runner.
I'm gonna go ahead and start closing the show down unless anybody has anything else to add, talk about any subjects.
Well, if it means and matters to anybody, I save 15% on car insurance.
Did you switch to Geico?
Yes. No, I don't own a car. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I saved 75% of my car insurance by torching my car.
No, I just wanted to say that. I'm not even advertising them because actually they were really pricey when I tried to go through them. I was like, yeah, fuck this.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and call it the show. Thank you, anybody who's endured this entire hour-long clusterfuck of an excuse for an entertainment expression form.
For your own entertainment value.
Yeah.
Blah.
For all of you and all of us, I am Aoxander.
I am Who is Alice.
Field Marshal Zukov.
And we have Sun Moon Balance in attendance.
Down here.
Anyway, until next week, you'll see us later. Toodles!
Toodles!
Toodles.